Alright, so I felt like making a video relating to chords, major 13th chords. And really all that means is getting used to spelling the scale skipwise rather than stepwise. So when we play a scale, we're always going in steps. So it will always be letters that come one after another in the alphabet. So for example, if I play A major scale, A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, and then A again. So it's just the alphabet with some accidentals on it. Now, what something that'll be useful is learning how to spell the scale in thirds. So what do I mean by that is, here I'll start on this lower octave A. So I skip B and I go to C sharp, E, G sharp, B, and then D, and then F sharp. So I'm using all 7 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 7 notes. Now number wise, like position in the scale, I'm starting on the 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, and 13. 9 is just the same as 2. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 is the same as 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is your 13. So anytime you see 9, it's the same thing as 2. But generally 9 means an octave up. Okay, now this doesn't sound like a very good chord on its own. And most of the time you're not going to play a chord like that just because it doesn't sound too cohesive. But it allows you to be able to build any chord quality that big. So for example, A minor 11. If I know what the major version is for the major scale, then I can alter some things to make it minor 11. And that gives me a really pretty chord. You know. So let's try a different key. Let's do E flat. Start on this E flat here. So first of all, we have to know what the scale is. And if you've watched my previous videos, you know that basically any major scale is a group, 2 groups of whole step notes. So we got 1, 2, 3. Those are whole steps. And then we go a half step up to 4, and we start another whole step group. And then we end where we started, on E flat. So that's our scale. Cool. So when you're doing this, you should either be at the piano or at the very least be imagining the piano in your mind. Be imagining the keyboard, because that's what you play. So don't imagine just the letters, don't imagine just the staff or something else. Imagine visually the keyboard when you do this, because that's going to help you memorize things. So anyway, let's start spelling our scale in thirds. Skip F and go to G, skip A flat and go to B flat, and so on. So now we have our whole scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 notes, and we got 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13. So let's say them. E flat, G, B flat, D, F, A flat, C. E flat, G, B flat, D, F, A flat, C. Now you can just walk around and do this in your head. If you take the bus, while you're eating breakfast, brushing your teeth, walking around from class to class, whatever you're doing, you can be practicing this. You don't necessarily need a keyboard. But what you'll start to notice is all the scales, no matter what, they're always, or all the chords, all the major 13 chords are going to go in a specific order. Okay, and I'll talk more about that in a second. Let's try one more key. Let's do E, key of E. So we start on this E. Let's spell our scale. Remember, we got our 3 whole step notes, and then we go up to 4, and there's our second group. So okay, now let's spell it in thirds. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, and then 13. E, G sharp, B, D sharp, F sharp, A, C sharp. E, G sharp, B, D sharp, F sharp, A, C sharp. Cool. So try that with all of the major 13 chords, in every key. I would start with C, E, G, B, D, F, A, then go around the circle of fourths. F, A, C, E flat, F, A, C, E, G, B flat, D, B flat, D, F, A, C, E flat, G, and so on. So here I have the musical alphabet written out several times. What will happen if I just skip, every other letter is basically I'll get what's called the order of thirds. And that orientation of letters is what we use to spell chords. Any chord, it doesn't matter. So for example, if I start on C and go C, skip, and then go to E, G, B, that will give me a C major 7, C, E, G, and B. And you can play that and see that it works. And we can go the whole way, all 7 letters, and that's all we can do before we repeat C again. So here's what I mean. C, E, G, B, D, F, A, 7 letters, and that's all there is. If we skip again, we end up on C. That's where we started. So you can only go 7 notes before you are doubling. Let's try it on F. F, A, C, E, G, B, and D. If I spelled using that F major scale, we would have a B flat actually. But yep, you see that we get 7 letters because if I go to this D right here and try to skip again, I end up on an F. Okay, cool. So let's write that out. So let's say we wanted to spell a D major 7. Okay, so first of all, I got to start on D, and I just 1, 3, 5, 7. So this is the chunk I'm going to use right here. Now all I got to do is put on some sharps. How many sharps are there in the key of D? There's 2. Right here and right here. Okay, so you can also, what you can do is imagine the scale in your head and say, well, there's an F sharp and there's a C sharp. Or you can actually go and play it on the piano. Let's play the scale and see what sharps you would have. But anyway, that's what you would do. But let's do a whole entire 13 chord. Okay, let's go over here and let's do B. All right, so B, D, and if we know the scale, F sharp, A, C sharp, E, G sharp, and that's it. That's 7 letters. So you play the scale, imagine the scale in your head as you're saying these notes. Okay? And then you just apply the key signature. And as you shouldn't really have to do a bunch of steps. You just imagine it in your head and you see the notes. You see that it's a D sharp. You see that it's an F sharp. And so on. So B, D sharp, F sharp, A sharp, C sharp, E, G sharp. And I would practice saying them. So you pick one for a day, like the key of C, and then the next day you pick the next one, F, and practice saying it over and over. Practice it, imagine it in your head. Practice playing it on your instrument. Okay, so for example, this one, B, D sharp, F sharp, A sharp, C sharp, E, G sharp. What that's going to do is it's going to put the muscle memory in, when you're saying it, so that it becomes automatic. You don't have to think about it. It just sort of comes out. If I wanted to spell D flat, major 13, D flat, F, A flat, C, E flat, G, B flat. And once you know all of your 12 major 13 chords, then you can start to use that to build other chords so much easier. So work with this, do all 12 keys, maybe take it a day at a time, and within 2 weeks you should be able to pretty much spell any chord easily.